Billionaire oligarch Mike Bloomberg has decided to drop out of the Democratic primary, which undoubtedly will help Joe Biden. But he does explain that the reason why he got involved in the first place was to ensure that Donald Trump is defeated in the general election. He tweeted the following about his decision to drop out. 3 months ago, I entered the race to defeat Donald Trump. Today, I'm leaving for the same reason. Defeating Trump starts with uniting behind the candidate with the best shot to do it. It's clear that is my friend and great American Joe Biden. So he also endorsed Joe Biden here. Of course, I disagree with his assessment on who's best suited to beat Donald Trump. I don't think it was Michael Bloomberg, and I certainly don't think that it's Joe Biden. However, this was the decision that he made. I'm sure there was quite a bit of pressure to do it. Also, Biden responded by saying this: Mike Bloomberg, I can't thank you enough for your support and for your tireless work on everything from gun safety reform to climate change. This race is bigger than candidates and bigger than politics. It's about defeating Donald Trump, and with your help, we're gonna do it.
Okay, why wouldn't it affect Biden? In like, for example, the damage of, hey, you seem to be actively embracing a guy who's on tape admitting to being a racist and not just saying things, carried out that policy and brutalized the Black and Latino community and the Muslim community in New York. So why wouldn't we ask him to take his endorsement back? Why isn't the New York Times writing an article right now? Why isn't the LA Times writing an article?
We know why.
Why isn't CNN writing it? Oh, right, because you're biased hacks. So what happened to, I'm so concerned about what someone said. And if you're not getting the reference, when Bernie Sanders endorsed me when I was running for Congress, they brought up quotes of mine from 19 years ago. And they're like, he made a joke 19 years ago. You have to condemn him and unendorse him, right? Jokes 19 years ago, the guy did stop and frisk. Okay?
Yeah.
So, okay,
it's funny
no. Let me just be very specific. Let's talk about New York Times. New York Times, okay, that lied about me and had to issue a correction. New York Times, why didn't you do a single, by the way, he was mayor of New York for 12 years. Why did it take so long for Benjamin Dixon online to find a tape of Bloomberg talking about stop and frisk and how it was actively racist?
Right.
Is there a single journalist at the New York Times?
By the way,
you guys didn't break any of those stories? He was surprised at the reaction he got in stop and frisk when he started running for president, because when he was running for president, there was actually press coverage he didn't expect. Why? Because it came from online media. He was mayor of your city for 12 years and you guys didn't do anything about it. Oh, we once wrote a couple of articles about stop and frisk. Did you condemn him? Did you write op-eds? Did you point out all of his hypocrisy? Did you show the racist statements? But now, let's get past all that right now. You did an article about tiny little Cenk Uygur, and oh my God, Bernie Sanders endorsed him. This is giant Mike Bloomberg, who might spend $1 billion on this campaign, massively important to the race, now endorsing the frontrunner Joe Biden. Joe Biden, that frontrunner, heartily accepting the racist endorsement of Mike Bloomberg. So New York Times, why is there not an article about that?
So it's funny that you connected this to your campaign, and I thought that it's a great point to bring up. But when you started making this argument, my mind wandered back to all the heat that Bernie Sanders got because he was endorsed by Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Joe Rogan said offensive things in the past. He said offensive things in the past. We don't like that. So Bernie Sanders, is he gonna reject it? Is he gonna reject that endorsement? Is he gonna speak out against it? How dare he, how dare he? Like, I mean, they made, by the way, that all ended up helping Bernie, so good job, right? Because people were like, what are they talking about, right? Why are they demonizing Bernie Sanders? Because Joe Rogan mentioned the obvious about Bernie Sanders, which is that he's had an incredibly consistent record. He's fought for the same things.
Yeah, so look, establishment Democrats and establishment media, if you're not getting it, you're kind of dense. Your hypocrisy is super obvious. That same week that everybody was aflutter over, oh my God, Joe Rogan. Hillary Clinton went on Howard Stern's show. Howard Stern has said a million things worse than Joe Rogan and a billion things worse than I ever said, right? And they're like, oh, Hillary on Howard Stern, that's so cool. She's being really cool by going on Howard Stern.
She really let loose.
Yeah, way to get let loose. And why? Because she was criticizing Bernie Sanders. How could you not see your hypocrisy? So New York Times, you were hypocritical then, but we're in the middle of it now. Are you gonna write the article? Are you gonna ask Joe Biden? Is there a single reporter at the New York Times? Is there a single functioning editor who's a real journalist at the New York Times? Will you ask Joe Biden to give Bloomberg's endorsement back? Or ask him a simple question: are you happy to receive the endorsement of a man who people credibly charge as obviously racist, right? So you tell me, and maybe Joe Biden is happy about that. There's some things in his record that might indicate that. But you're never gonna ask that because you're biased and you're hypocrites and you lie on behalf of the establishment all the time. You lie by telling the certain stories and not telling other stories, by asking certain questions but not asking other questions. Okay, finally, now to the point of will Bloomberg dropping out help Biden? Of course, ostensibly, given that they're both conservatives, it will, but remember, how did Bloomberg get his support in the first place? He bought it. So he did a bunch of ads, and people didn't know Bloomberg's record. The minute they found out what Bloomberg's real record was, a little bit in the debates, thanks to Elizabeth Warren, his popularity nosedived. So it's not like there were people who were like, man, I really love Bloomberg for doing stop and frisk. No, the minute they found out about stop and frisk, they immediately stopped liking Bloomberg. So it was like a fake image that Bloomberg had put out that they liked. So those voters who liked that fake image of someone who could get things done, that was the main theme of his campaign. Yeah, some of them might go to Biden, but yeah, a lot of them might go to Bernie. So likely more will go to Biden, although voters don't always act in the way that you would expect. But I don't think that it's what people think, which is, oh, they're all gonna go to Biden. No, they are not all gonna go to Biden. I'm not worried about it that Biden has embraced the racist Wall Street oligarch and that that's gonna help him. If I was Bernie, I'd turn that right around on Biden and go, not just stop and frisk, but first of all, no African American should vote for someone who accepts the endorsement of Mike Bloomberg. I'm keeping it real. No Latino should, no Muslim should, like I am, right? In my background, my family's Muslim. No person of color should tolerate that kind of racism and bigotry. But also, he's embracing an oligarch who defends Wall Street and thinks they shouldn't be reformed. You think that's a winning strategy? If I was on Bernie's team, I'd crush Biden with that. In the next debate we're in, I'd ask him to denounce him over and over again. Joe, why won't you denounce him? Wait, so I guess you're in favor of Wall Street and being totally unregulated. You were in favor of the bank bailouts, Joe. So why do you love Wall Street so much?
Yes, Cenk. God, come on, Bernie. Come on.
Come on,
you gotta
Bernie.
do it.
Come on, Bernie. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.